The silverware trembles when I slide the envelope across the linen tablecloth. My fingers are steady, my heartbeat isn't. They're all here, every smug face I've memorized in the dark for years. Grandfather at the head, eyes like steel. Aunt Melanie in pearls and barely concealed contempt. My father, silent, sipping his scotch like he didn't spend a decade pretending I didn't exist. Their children, their lovers, their secrets. Before dessert, I say calmly, I thought it's time we talk about ownership. No one moves. The room still smells of roasted duck, expensive cologne, and entitlement. Grandfather tilts his head. Ownership of what exactly? I push the envelope closer. Cream paper, embossed seal, legal weight, everything. Their silence fractures into small gasps, nervous glances. Uncle Ray chuckles, but it's forced. He knows I don't bluff. Not anymore. I believe, I say, voice cool, you're all sitting on stolen ground, and this contract will return it legally to its rightful heir. Grandfather slowly opens the envelope. His lips part. He chuckles, then laughs, and not the kind of laugh that surrenders. Oh, my boy, he murmurs, waving the papers. You think this is real? I blink. You're 2 steps behind, as always. He turns the paper, and I see it. The watermark is wrong. My lawyer's signature? Forged. Not by me. Nice theatrics, he says, folding it back into the envelope. But this isn't a courtroom. This is family. Laughter follows. My cousins smirk. Aunt Melanie dabs her lips like she didn't just spit venom. And just like that, my first major strike is dead before dessert. My name is Lucas Rayner, and I'm 32 years old. I wasn't supposed to be here, not at this table, not in this mansion, not breathing the same air as the people who tried to erase me. I'm what they called the bastard son, the product of a brief affair between their golden boy and a waitress he never claimed. They fed me lies growing up until I turned 24, and they found their excuse to cast me out. It wasn't sudden, it wasn't clean, it was humiliating. I remember the night they kicked me out. After someone planted a photo of me kissing a married assistant in one of the boardrooms, my access revoked, my bank account frozen, my name scrubbed from every company file. No trial, no goodbye. You don't belong here, my father had whispered, not even looking me in the eye. We can't afford scandals from your kind. So I left. One suitcase, no inheritance, no answers. But I didn't stay broken, because there were questions. Too many. Why did Aunt Melanie cry when she saw me at the last family gala? Why did grandfather's lawyer avoid looking me in the eye during the final shareholder meeting? Why did my birth certificate disappear when I was 17? And why did my mother, God rest her soul, keep a photo of her and grandfather in her diary labeled "Before the Lie"? I didn't want revenge at first. I wanted truth. But the deeper I dug, the darker it got. Affairs, falsified documents, secret offshore accounts, even whispers of sibling entanglements they thought no one noticed. They laughed while I rotted in a rat-infested apartment in the Bronx, while I picked up shifts bartending at strip clubs, while I showered at gyms and slept on leather couches that stuck to my skin in summer. And every year they gathered for this dinner, like tonight, toasting power, laughing at ghosts. But this time I wasn't here for closure. I was here to burn it all. Only, I failed. Again. How did they get to my lawyer? Who switched the envelope? And worse, how long have they known I was coming? So predictable, grandfather says now, eyes gleaming like a predator. You walk in thinking you're the clever one, but you're just another stray chasing scraps. I clench my jaw, but I don't flinch. I can't, because while this envelope was fake, it wasn't the only one I prepared. Still, they think they've won. Again. But why did Cousin Eric suddenly look nervous when I entered? Why did Aunt Melanie refuse to meet my eyes when I mentioned rightful heir? What's really going on behind their perfect poker faces? And most of all, who inside my camp flipped? I excuse myself from the table, heading toward the guest bathroom, but instead of going left, I take the hallway to the private office. I disable the security camera with a flick of a magnet, just like the mansion blueprints showed me. Inside, I open the locked cabinet with the duplicate key I had made 2 months ago. And there it is, the original deed. They moved it, but not far enough, not fast enough. Still think I'm 2 steps behind? They're about to find out I brought more than envelopes. I brought war. I lock the study door behind me, just long enough to take a photo of the deed, front, back, serial number. I don't pocket it. That would be too obvious. This part of the game isn't about theft. It's about proof. When I step back into the dining hall, the atmosphere has shifted. They're already whispering. I can smell the doubt. The fake contract may have been a dud, but my presence alone is pressure. Aunt Melanie looks pale. Cousin Eric won't meet my eyes. And grandfather, he's watching me like I just played a move he didn't expect. Good, because he didn't. Flashback. 8 years ago, the night I was disowned, I went to her house, the woman who raised me, my mother. She didn't say much, just opened the door, handed me a bag, and told me, this isn't the end, it's the beginning. Inside the bag was cash, about $2,000, a burner phone, and one single creased photo. My mother, barely 21, arms around a man in uniform. My grandfather. The back of the photo was written in her script, before the lie, don't trust the name Rayner. I didn't understand it back then. Why not trust the name that gave me everything, then took it away? But that photo was the first loose thread, and I couldn't stop pulling. At 25, I was living in a one-bedroom unit above a laundromat in Queens. Mold in the ceiling, cockroaches in the cereal box. But I worked. 2 shifts at nightclubs, one-day job at a pawn shop. In between, I watched. I researched. I learned. One night, I got curious. I searched my own name through a legal records database. Nothing showed. Then I searched Lucas Melanie, my mother's maiden name, and found something I wasn't supposed to. A sealed birth record. Hospital, St. Augustine, upstate New York. Attending physician, listed as confidential. Why would a birth certificate be sealed? Why was I under Lucas Rayner at all? The more I dug, the weirder it got. My social security registration was filed 2 months late. My birth wasn't in the family tree database, though every cousin's was. And then came the night I saw Uncle Ray leaving my mother's apartment. At 1:17 a.m., I watched from the hallway stairwell. His shirt was half buttoned. Her robe wasn't tied. He saw me, didn't flinch, just lit a cigarette and left. That night changed everything, because it told me what kind of people I was up against, and that they weren't just careless, they were cruel. Back at the dinner table now, my cousin Layla leans in. She's always played both sides with perfect tits and razor blade smiles. Her dress tonight dips far too low for a family gathering. Not that anyone's surprised. She purrs. Did you really think you could outmaneuver Grandpa with a single contract, Lucas? Her voice brushes my neck like a tease. But I know her game. I'm not here to outmaneuver, I say, sipping the wine they offered like a peace token. I'm here to dismantle. That gets her attention. And Grandfather's. He lifts his eyes from the steak he hasn't touched. Big words for a bastard with no shares. I smile. That's funny. You still think I don't have shares? Now there's a flicker. Small, but it's there. Because 2 years ago, I used a network of dummy buyers to acquire 11% of Rayner Holdings. A little here, a little there. Buried in shell corporations across Delaware, Panama, and Liechtenstein. They laughed when I left. But while they were drinking champagne and screwing each other in Hampton's hot tubs, I was building an empire of shadows. But tonight was supposed to be the night I struck hard. And I failed. Why was my envelope switched? Who got to my lawyer? The answer slams into me like a train. Nina. Nina fucking Blair. My lawyer's assistant. 5'9", blonde, legs for days. We'd slept together. Too many times. She liked cuffs. She liked control. She liked whispering things like, "You're going to bury them, aren't you?" While I had her bent over the kitchen counter. God damn it. She betrayed me. But how much did she give them? Everything. That night, I don't go back to my penthouse. I drive to a bar in the Bronx where no one recognizes me and order whiskey neat. And that's where I meet her. She slides onto the stool next to mine like smoke. Dark hair, red lips, black heels, and a voice that says she's not here by accident. I heard your little show didn't go well, she murmurs. I don't respond. She sips her drink. They're good, your family, but not invincible. I glance at her. Who the hell are you? She hands me a card. No name, just an address in New Haven and the words, "What they buried lives here." I should leave. I should call security. I should burn that card. But something in her eyes, sharp, knowing, tells me she has something I need. And as she gets up to leave, she brushes her fingers across my chest and whispers, "They're not just hiding money, Lucas. They're hiding bodies." What the hell does that mean? Who is she? And why did her perfume smell like the guest bedroom in my mother's old house? I don't sleep that night. The card she left lies on the table beside an empty whiskey glass and a half-finished thought. What they buried lives here. I stare at the address. New Haven, a 3-hour drive. The kind of place where the Rayners vacationed with government friends and mistresses. It wasn't part of the business empire. It was part of the cover. At 4:17 a.m., I get in my car and drive. The house is old money. Colonial brick, white columns, security cameras masked by vines. Whoever she was, she had access because the front gate opens the moment I arrive. Inside, it smells of dust and rotting wood, but something worse lingers: guilt. In the basement, under cracked cement tiles, I find what she wanted me to find: a lockbox. Inside it, a birth certificate with my name and a different father. 3 photographs of grandfather, younger in bed with a teenage girl who is not my mother, and a death certificate for a boy named Benjamin Cole, age 4. Cause of death, accidental fall downstairs. There's a note clipped to the documents. Benjamin didn't fall, he was pushed, and someone covered it. My stomach drops. Who was Benjamin? And why does this boy look exactly like the kid in that old oil painting in the family lake house, the one they said was just a cousin who died young? I spend the next week pulling every thread I can. I track down a nurse who worked at St. Augustine in the 90s. She's 70 now, drinks gin, and gossips like a tap left running. I slide her $500 and a lie about writing a biography. She says one thing that freezes me mid-sip. Oh, honey, the Rayners always had twins running through their bloodline. But your case, that was different. We weren't supposed to log your birth. We were paid in cash to lose the file. Twins. Benjamin Cole and me? Did I have a brother? And did someone in this family kill him? I start to build a timeline. The year Benjamin died was the year grandfather's health started failing. The year I was born was the year the house staff was quietly replaced. The year I was disowned was the year the estate went through a structural audit. They buried a kid and a crime and raised me on top of its ashes. And the more I uncover, the more dangerous it gets. Because the next morning, I wake to sirens. 3 unmarked cars outside my condo. An officer shouts my name. I open the door, half-dressed. Behind them is a man in a black suit. Lucas Rayner, you're under arrest for securities fraud and corporate espionage. My heart plummets. What the hell? The cuffs dig in. In the back of the cruiser, I replay every move, every leak, every acquisition, every encrypted message. I was careful, ruthless even. So how the hell did they get to me? At the station, a lawyer is already waiting for me. Not my lawyer, someone new. Blonde, red lips. Her, the woman from the bar. She slips into the room, shuts the door behind her, and leans against it like she owns the oxygen in the room. I warned you, she says, crossing her arms. They played dirty. You set me up. No, I lit a match. You walked into the fire. What the hell is going on? She tosses a folder onto the table. Inside, photos of my meetings with shell company CEOs, bank transfers, voice recordings, but all of it is edited, twisted, a narrative of guilt. I can make this disappear, she says, her voice low, seductive, but there's a price. What price? She walks behind me, brushing my shoulder with her nails. I want in. I want 10% of whatever empire you're building, and I want you. Full access. No lies. I stare at her. Is this another trap? Or is she the only way out? I take the deal. And just like that, the charges vanish in 48 hours. No trace. No court date. No paper trail. But now I owe her. And I hate owing anyone, especially someone who watches me dress in the morning with the same calculating eyes she used in that police station. But I can't deny it. She's intoxicating. She moves like danger wrapped in silk. Her kisses taste like warnings. And when she strips off her blouse in my living room, I forget how many knives she probably has under her skirt. You want revenge, she whispers as she straddles me. I want legacy. Let's give each other both. But after we're done, after she lays naked across my chest like she belongs there, I ask the one question that's burned since the first night. What's your name? She smiles. Call me Mara. That's not a name. It's a blade. And I'm already bleeding. 2 weeks later, we strike again. A deeper plan this time. We leak a fake scandal, suggesting grandfather used company funds for offshore bribes. It's enough to spark a board meeting. But the day before it happens, Mara disappears. Phone off. Apartment wiped clean. My own devices show signs of hacking. And worst of all, someone emptied one of my shell accounts. 4 million gone. I've been hit. Again. And this time, I might not recover. Because when I show up to the board meeting alone, the security team refuses me entry. Grandfather's voice plays over the intercom. Try harder, bastard. You'll never beat me at my own game. I sit in my car outside the Rayner building, the word bastard still ringing in my ears like a branding iron sizzling on skin. He planned that message. He knew I'd come. He knew I'd fail. But there's one thing the old bastard never understood. I don't stop. I adapt. I disappear. For 6 months, I fall off the map. I dye my hair. I shut down my accounts. I ghost every connection I've made. The world forgets me, just as I need it to. I rent a 2-bedroom walk-up in East Harlem under a fake name. I work nights doing bookkeeping for a chain of underground poker clubs. In the day, I dig. Mara's betrayal cuts deeper than I admit, not just because she stole my money, but because she knew things about my family that only insiders should know. So who was she working for? Rayners? The feds? Herself? But there's something else she left behind, accidentally or not. A burner phone, wedged in the lining of my couch. One number saved in it, no name, no ID, just a text thread with scattered coordinates, partial bank statements, and one line I keep coming back to. Subject Eric, weak link. Press on June 3rd. Eric, my cousin, the only one who actually looked nervous the night I crashed the family dinner, so I start watching him. Turns out Eric has a problem. Alyssa Blake, a trust fund brat turned influencer with an addiction to pills, drama, and men with something to lose. Eric keeps her tucked away in a high-rise condo in Battery Park, but I know her type. I've served her drinks before. I've watched women like her ruin men for less. So I make contact, not through a bribe, through charm. It starts with a chance meeting at her favorite sushi lounge, then a coffee date, then tequila shots on her balcony at 2 a.m. She's a biter, a screamer. And when she collapses into my arms, breathless and soaked in sweat, she moans, God, why can't Eric fuck me like that? I don't answer. I'm too busy sliding my burner into her purse. By the time I leave her place 2 days later, I have full access to her phone, and through it, Eric's encrypted messages. And that's when it gets interesting. Because Eric isn't just siphoning money from the family trust, he's trading Rayner property data to a rival firm in exchange for hush payments. He's a traitor. And more importantly, he's sloppy. I build a full dossier, date-stamped wire transfers, photos of Alyssa's bank account, screenshots of Eric in bed with 2 hired escorts the night before a board vote. But here's the twist. Grandfather already knows. When I try to blackmail Eric, when I confront him in the garage of his Manhattan loft, he pulls a gun. Shaky hands, eyes wide. You think I'm scared of you? He spits. You think this is a game? I raise my hands. It's not a game, it's a reckoning. He laughs, a ragged sound. You don't get it. He set me up. He gave me the contacts. He told me to leak those deals, to bait you. My blood turns cold. It wasn't just that my plan failed. It was designed to fail. You were the bait? I whisper. He nods, desperation in his eyes. And you walked right into it. I leave the garage with a bruised face, no leverage, and a truth that shakes my foundation. They're not just ahead of me. They're orchestrating my moves. But they also made a mistake. Because in trying to use Eric to trap me, they revealed their own hand. They're paranoid, desperate. That means I'm closer than they want me to be. So I change tactics. No more subtle leaks, no more insider seductions. I go nuclear. Step 1, I contact the SEC. Through a proxy, I submit evidence of potential insider trading, money laundering, and tax fraud spanning 18 years. But I don't give them everything, just enough to rattle cages. Within 72 hours, Rayner Holdings is under review. Stocks dip, media starts sniffing, shareholders panic. Step 2, I leak part of Benjamin Cole's death certificate, anonymously, to a true crime blog that's gone viral for resurrecting cold cases. I don't name names, I don't need to. The photo of the oil painting at the Rayner Lake House does the talking. The dead twin theory hits #1 on YouTube within days. Reddit explodes, and the Rayners, they go radio silent. But silence isn't surrender. It's strategy. And then, just as I start to celebrate, boom, my apartment is firebombed. No casualties, thank God I wasn't home, but the message is clear. This is war. And they just reminded me that I have everything left to lose. I move again. This time underground. Burner phones, new passports, layers of encrypted firewalls. But it isn't just about survival anymore. It's about obliteration. Because now I know exactly how far they're willing to go. And I'm willing to go further. But before I strike again, I need an answer to the one question that's haunted me since Mara disappeared. Was she on their side or mine? I find her in Barcelona, Mara. She's lounging in the VIP terrace of a rooftop club, red dress slit to the hip, cigarette dangling from her fingers like she's been waiting for me the whole time. She doesn't flinch when I step out of the shadows. She doesn't reach for her purse. She just says, "Took you long enough." I want to slap her. I want to fuck her. I want to drag her across the table and scream every betrayal into her mouth until her lipstick smears down her collarbone. Instead, I sit. "You stole $4 million, I growl. She exhales smoke. "I saved your life. You set me up. You vanished. I led them away from you. I fed them just enough to make them think they were winning. Meanwhile, I trace the shell accounts that fund their slush money." I narrow my eyes. "Why should I believe anything you say?" She leans forward, her dress parting like a Red Sea, revealing no bra underneath. "Because I know where the real kill file is. The kill file. It's legend in my family. Whispers of a locked black drive containing every misdeed, every backdoor deal, every mistress, every covered-up scandal from the last 50 years. If it exists, it's the key to destroying the Rayner dynasty from the inside. No court appeal, no settlement, just annihilation. If it's real, I ask, why haven't they used it?" Mara smiles faintly. "Because only one person knows where it is, and he's dying." "Who?" "Your grandfather's personal fixer, Gregory Nash." I freeze. I know that name. Everyone in the family does. He's the ghost in every lawsuit that disappears, the shadow behind the charity donations that cover up crimes. He's been missing for 3 years. Rumor said he fled with a mistress to Argentina. Mara hands me a flash drive. "Not quite. He's in a hospital in Marseille. Cancer, stage 4, sedated most days, but I bribed a nurse, got his schedule." My fingers tighten around the flash drive. "Why give this to me now?" Her voice softens. "Because I'm tired of being a pawn, and because I've seen what they did to you, to Benjamin, to your mother." She pauses, locking eyes with me. "And because I want to see them burn." Marseille smells like salt and antiseptic. Gregory Nash is a shell, skin like wax paper. Tubes in his nose, but when I whisper my name, Lucas Rayner, his eyelids flutter and then he speaks. Not much, just fragments, but enough, enough. "Locker, 7B, Union Bank, Zurich." He dies 2 days later. Zurich is cold when I arrive. The locker contains a single hard drive, encrypted, but Mara's contact, a disgraced NSA hacker named Felix, cracks it in 5 hours. And then I see it, my family's sins, in 4K resolution. A video of grandfather in a hotel room with a girl who looks no older than 15. Audio recordings of bribes to city officials. A full confession from my father about Benjamin's accident. He pushed him, over a toy. My twin brother died because my father couldn't stand to lose an argument, and they covered it up to preserve the Rayner image. I vomit in the hotel bathroom. Then I come back and press play again. Not because I want to, because I need to. The plan takes shape in silence. Mara and I, partners now, if not quite lovers again, structure every move like war generals. First, we encrypt the entire kill file onto a cloud server with an auto-publish protocol. Second, we prepare a press leak timed with the quarterly earnings call of Rayner Holdings. Third, we set a trap. We invite the family to a special meeting. Private, discreet, high level. Just like the kind they love, where dirty decisions get made behind closed doors. Except this time, the doors are wired with mics, and the room is streaming to an anonymous server in real time. The moment they confirm anything, from past laundering to tax evasion, boom, every piece of evidence drops to the press, but then something happens we don't expect. The day before the meeting, Mara disappears again. No texts, no calls, gone. I check her flat, empty. Her email server, wiped. My burner phone, fried. At first, I think she ran again, maybe took the kill file for herself. But then I find a USB taped under the lid of my toilet tank, the old mobster trick. It contains only one thing, a photo of Mara, beaten, tied to a chair, and behind her, grandfather. He's smiling. There's a note in digital text, "Come alone or she bleeds." I sit in my car for 15 minutes, fists clenched, heart in my throat. It's a trap. It's always been a trap. But what if it's not? What if she really did switch sides again? What if this is her final move to bait me, to get me alone, to finish the job? Then again, what if she didn't? What if this time she meant it? Do I risk it all, or do I burn the world down right now and never look back? There's a question I can't stop asking. Is Mara a traitor, or the only reason I'm still alive? I go. Not because I trust her, not because I'm noble, because if Mara really did go back to them, if she really played me twice, then I want to see her face when I end her. And if she didn't, if she really stayed loyal despite everything, then I can't let her die alone. The coordinates lead me to an abandoned vineyard estate in upstate New York, one the Rainers donated years ago to a fake charity that never existed. It's off grid, no cell towers, no GPS, a place where people disappear. They strip me at the gate, phone, watch, even my shoelaces. Two men in black take me to the main house, silent the whole way. And there she is, Mara, tied to a chair, face bloodied, one eye swollen shut, duct tape across her mouth, and grandfather standing behind her, sipping wine like he's hosting a goddamn garden party. Lucas, he says smoothly, you always were too sentimental. My fists clench. Let her go. He laughs. She played you once, didn't she? What makes you think she didn't do it again? I say nothing because I honestly don't know. He walks toward me, that same chilling calm he wore the night he called me a mistake. You think I built an empire by letting bastards chip away at it? I let the silence stretch. You killed Benjamin, he shrugs. Benjamin was weak. One push and he shattered. You were harder to break. You covered it up. Of course I did. Do you know how many heirs I've created and erased? You were never supposed to survive, but you did, which makes this all so poetic. He raises his glass. To survival. I wait, because I'm not stupid. Because this isn't my final play. I just need 10 more seconds. And then the lights flicker. The estate's security system crashes, and every screen in the building comes to life. First, the sound. Lucas Rayner, born to Melanie Blake, illegally erased from company records. Then the video. My father's confession. The footage of Benjamin's fall. The bribes, the sex scandals, the bodies. Every rotten truth playing across every screen in the house in real time and streaming live to the world. Grandfather drops his glass. I smile. You shouldn't have brought me here. He lunges. But I'm faster. I slam my fist into his throat, grab the chair Mara's tied to, and push it backward. She hits the ground hard, but we're moving. Gunshots explode behind us. Someone screams. Mara yells something through the duct tape, and I rip it free. Back door, she gasps, bleeding and dazed. We run. The estate burns behind us, literally. One of the henchmen hit a fuel line in the chaos. By the time we hit the tree line, the whole vineyard is a blaze of fire, smoke, and falling power lines. It's beautiful in a sick way, like the empire itself is self-immolating. 2 days later, I wake up in a safe house in Pennsylvania. Mara's next to me, arm bandaged, eyes tired, but alive. And for the first time in a decade, I feel something that almost resembles peace. The kill file is out. Every major news network ran it. The Rainers are being dismantled piece by piece. Board members resigning, stock frozen, grandfather under federal investigation. My father vanished. Rumor says he fled to Dubai, but the war's not over. Not yet. Because then I get the call, private, untraceable number, muffled voice, a woman. You think you won, she whispers, but there's one Rainer left, and she doesn't forgive. The call ends. I stare at the phone. Mara looks over. Who was it? I meet her eyes. I don't know, but I think the game just reset. And just like that, my victory turns cold, because I forgot one thing. In every dynasty, the real monster is always the one who watches in silence, waiting, plotting, and now she's coming for me. 3 weeks pass. The media storm still rages, but it's starting to shift. Too clean, too scripted. The headlines soften. Rayner legacy under scrutiny turns into former tycoon Gregory Rayner hospitalized for stress. And then I notice something stranger. The kill file is being discredited. They're calling it deepfake propaganda, questioning timestamps, potentially AI manipulated evidence. They're rewriting the narrative, and someone's pulling the strings very quietly. Mara and I retreat to a compound in the Nevada desert, protected by ex-military guards and 3 levels of encrypted firewalls. I spend the nights poring over new data leaks, searching for the source of the counteroffensive, and that's when I find her. Isabella Rayner. Half-sister, born from one of grandfather's affairs with a Colombian lawyer who died under mysterious circumstances. She's never been in the public eye. Never claimed an inch of Rayner wealth. Until now. She's the new face of the empire, clean, pretty, educated, Harvard and Oxford on her resume, CEO by emergency appointment, and behind those sweet PR smiles, I see the same cold glint grandfather used to have before he told me I didn't belong. But Isabella's different. She doesn't threaten, she neutralizes. I try to hit her fast, release a second wave of documents tied to her offshore law firm in Panama. Within 12 hours, the files are removed from every platform. My proxy server crashes. Two of my cloud backups get wiped. I call Felix, the NSA hacker who helped crack the kill file. His phone rings 5 times. Then I hear a scream, gunshot, static, and silence. One of my best pieces just got removed from the board. Mara stares at me as I pace the room. She's not reacting, she's predicting. And that's the moment I know I'm not in a revenge story anymore. I'm in a war with someone who plays beyond emotion. I fly to Geneva. My last safe stash is there, a full ledger of Rayner's European laundering trail, names, banks, account numbers. But when I land, airport security pulls me aside. Apparently, I'm flagged on Interpol for cyber terrorism. The officer leans in and says softly, "This is bigger than you." I don't make it to the vault. The ledger is gone, and I barely get out of Switzerland using a smuggled passport and a suitcase filled with decoy USBs. By the time I'm back on US soil, my entire legal identity is erased. Social security number suspended. Bank accounts frozen. Digital presence scrubbed. I've been erased. Mara wants to run. She says we can start over. Fake names, new lives, disappear somewhere the Rainers don't care to look. But I can't. Not when I'm this close. Not when the woman who called me trash now signs billion-dollar contracts on screens I used to clean fingerprints from. I don't want silence. I want a reckoning. So I do something stupid. I walk straight into the Rayner Holdings headquarters in Manhattan, wearing a suit, unarmed, fully visible. No alias, no escape plan, just me, and a detonator in my pocket. Not a bomb, something more powerful. A signal trigger. One push and every remaining file, video, and audio I have goes live across multiple servers worldwide. Irreversible, untraceable, uncensorable. They try to stop me in the lobby, but Isabella steps forward, calm, unbothered. She looks younger than me, but her presence, ancient, like a queen who's already buried 6 kings. "Lucas," she says sweetly, "are you really here to lose again?" I lift the trigger. "I'm here to finish it." She smiles, and then she says the one thing I didn't expect. "Go ahead." I freeze. "No threats? No screaming?" She steps closer. "Because if you press that button, the only thing you'll expose is how much you don't know." "What?" "Grandfather didn't cover up Benjamin's death. I did." The room tilts. She continues, voice low. "I was 10. I saw it. I told him to lie, because Benjamin was never supposed to be the heir. You were." "No. You think this was revenge? This was containment. You were born to break us, and I've spent 20 years keeping that from happening." I stare at her, then press the button. She doesn't flinch. The floor doesn't shake. No alarms, and suddenly, I realize the truth. She already accessed the kill file. She rewrote it. She let me leak it. She used me to burn grandfather so she could take the throne clean. I dropped the trigger. It was always a chessboard, and I was the knight. Expendable, predictable. Myra steps beside me. "Say the word," she whispers, and we disappear. But I don't. I look at Isabella, the sister I never knew, the enemy I can't defeat. Yet. 3 months later, I own nothing. I live in a motel outside Reno, work odd jobs under fake names. The dynasty survived. Isabella reigns. But here's the thing about stories like mine. They don't end in fire. They end in return. Because I still have one piece she didn't touch, one testimony, one secret. And the next time I come back, I won't bring war. I'll bring collapse. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the bastard, especially the one who's lost everything, because when the quiet one rises, he doesn't scream, he signs.